moment. How will we be remembered? Look at the opportunities before us.
This election really isn't about the left versus the right. It's about we, the people, choosing our government and the choice between freedom versus tyranny.
Nobody has a chronic disease burden like we have. Why are we allowing this to happen to our children? Ultimately, the only thing that will save our country is if we choose to love our kids more than we hate each other.
What is going on here is deeper than politics. It is deeply spiritual. We are being called to rise above the hatred and the fear and the evil.
We need to remember above and beyond that we must love our neighbors, that we must treat other people as we hope to be treated.
You want to be a rebel? You want to be a hippie? You want to stick it to the man? Show up on your college campus and try calling yourself a conservative.
America is going to reach heights that it has never seen before. The future is going to be amazing!
Don't you want healthy children? Don't you want a president that's going to make America healthy again?
I come to you today as a former Democrat. I will be a first-time Trump voter tonight.
The people dreamed this country, and it's the people who are making America great again. Making black new.
Good evening, Patriots. Welcome to the Audit the Vote newsroom. I am your host, Toni Shoup. I could probably act that video out at this point. I'm like mouthing along with the words of the song, and when they're talking, and Vivek, you want to stick it to the man? I'm backstage going through it all. I just can't get enough of it. I play it every day, and I'm getting ready for the holiday party Friday night on the 13th, which going into our first announcement. Before I do that, I don't want to forget to tell you to like, share, and subscribe to our podcast, our new Audit the Vote. It's not new, but we're going to do this on a regular basis moving forward, building a podcast. Like, share, and subscribe on whatever platform you're watching it on. We're on Rumble, X, I was going to say Twitter. That's the same thing. We're still not back on Instagram. We're on YouTube, Twitch, and I think we're on Facebook. So like this, share it, and subscribe so you hit the bell. Hit the bell. That will let you know when we go live, so you'll get a notification on whatever device it is that is attached to your hip, because that's how we are in the 21st century, 2024. Now, everybody is attached to a device. You can't get away from it, although I will admit when I get a good 24 hours away from my phone, it feels like a breath of fresh air. Hit that bell so you can find out when we're live and join us on a regular basis. Thank you so much all for your support. Getting into some announcements, we do have a good show for you tonight. I have a special guest who hopefully is going to join us from the road very soon. I got to keep my eyes out for my attorney, a good friend who filed the defamation lawsuit against Josh Shapiro when he defamed me in his governor campaign right before the 2022 midterm elections. The attorney in Pennsylvania who agreed to file a defamation lawsuit is going to be live with us tonight, or should be. He's on his way home. I might have texted make sure has signal, because he has some updates about Delaware County. He's represented folks in Delaware County since 2020. He's a total patriot, such a fighter. They have tried to completely destroy his legal career. He has run for office before. He ran for Attorney General of Lehigh County back in 2019. And is speculating that there were shenanigans back then. And his election had a successful law practice, very well respected, until 2020 when he started getting involved in some of the Trump lawsuits and going against the machine companies, and they came after him pretty hardcore. So I'm excited to share him with you guys tonight and to have him tell a little bit about the recent developments in Delaware County. Just this week, he was in court in some hearings And he's going to share with us some updates there. No Facebook. Okay, thank you for that comment, Joel. Twitch, X, YouTube, and Rumble. And X and Twitter, I have to get in my head. Hey, Babbage3, I have to get in my head that Twitter and X are the same thing. So this Friday, a couple announcements. Mark your calendar if you haven't already. If you're in Western Pennsylvania and you're free this Friday night, we would love for you to join us at the Capitol Cathedral Studios in Millvale. Joel has a pretty cool flyer that I'm sure he's working on getting up right there. We are not at capacity yet, but we are getting close. So if you haven't RSVP'd, please scan the QR code on that flyer or go to, I think that's probably your only option at this point. Scan the QR code. If you're on our email list, you should have gotten an email about this. So there should be plenty of ways for you to get to the link that you can RSVP, because I have a feeling we're going to get close to having to cut it off probably the day of the event. The facility maxes out at about 150 and we're over 100 people. So we're getting close. I hate to turn people away. We're not charging for the event. It's just a celebration, a gathering of like-minded patriots who have been on the ground fighting this 2020 election fraud together since the very beginning. And we're bringing in two special guest speakers who could not be better fit to speak to us after our victory on November 5th, because they too, Dr. Doug Frank and Captain Seth Keshel, have been on the ground with us fighting even before Audit the Vote didn't technically form until after Joe Biden was inaugurated in early 2021. Karen and I were just, who sends her love, by the way. She is family stuff going on right now, not able to join us tonight. She was going to be my co-host. She will be back. If you saw the announcement, if you follow her on social media, by the way, you saw her announcement that she is transitioning roles with Audit the Vote. She is stepping down from her position as the CFO, but she is not leaving us. She just has a ton of responsibility on her plate, including two small kids and a husband and the chair of a Westmoreland County committee. She's volunteers with the Phyllis Schlafly organization, also works for Cause of America, which is another nonprofit funded and started by Mike Lindell, nationwide grassroots effort to work on election integrity and collaborate and connect to the grassroots groups who are trying to get us back to hand-counted paper ballots, get rid of the crazy mail-ins, no more machines, one-day elections. And she's on calls all week long. So she's stepping down from that position, but again, not leaving us. She's still going to be doing hand count trainings for Audit the Vote, and she will be joining me as her schedule permits on a regular weekly basis as we move forward. So we thank her so very much. We will be putting out an official statement from the Audit the Vote, from our board, thanking her for the hard work. And we would not be actually with our who was our third partner. Those of you that have maybe been following us from the beginning, it was three of us originally, and they've all left me. But Jamie Sheffield was with us in the beginning. And honestly, without the three of us working together, the movement would not be what it is. Audit the Vote would not be. It's not just, I've obviously been the front facing person. And I think only because I had the biggest personal social media following when we launched the petition. So I just had happened to get a wider reach at first, which made me kind of become the face of all this, but it certainly wasn't all my work. It was a team of us, and especially those two ladies that got us to where we are today, which the hard work is just getting started. So join us Friday night at Capitol Cathedral Studios. We're going to have pizza. If you can bring a dish, I think we're going to have plenty of food. My husband is in charge of making sure that good hot pizza and beverages get there, stay warm, and stay full. So if anything goes wrong with the food, he will be there, my silver fox, live and in person for you to share your complaints with. I just told him today, if you're married any length of time, or even if you're not newly married, communication is vital in a healthy marriage. And every once in a while, I shouldn't say every once in a while, this is on a regular basis. When we talk to each other, we both have so many things going on in multiple directions. An awful lot of the time I tell him something and he isn't paying attention, and vice versa. I probably do it, quite frankly, more than he does at this point. But I know he looked me in the eye today and said, yes, I will get the pizza. I will get the drinks. You can count on me. And so I'm 90% confident that this is going to happen. All that to say, come enjoy some food. Doors open at 5:30. We did have a lot of Patriot-owned businesses and gift certificates, really neat items that were donated to us from local business owners that we're going to do a silent auction for some things, a Chinese auction for others, and all of the proceeds are going to go to Audit the Vote to help us get through the midterms and continue our mission of getting back to a transparent election process. A transparent process will equal a trusted result. And that is what we are after, because as excited and thankful I am that November 5th went the direction that I wanted it to go, and many of you watching probably wanted it to go. The fact is, the process is not transparent. So when people ask me, was it fair? Honestly, I don't know. And I don't know because we didn't have a transparent counting and reporting process. And that's not a dig on any individual person that's in office right now, although we do enjoy torturing our polycritters here at the local level and in the state legislature. We as activists on the ground and just patriots, American citizens, have a lot of work to do to get us back to that system that we can trust. Whether we like the results or not doesn't really matter, but it's transparency when they count and report the votes that was obliterated in 2020. And it's why still the majority of people do not think that Joe Biden was legitimately elected, and they have every right to not think that. Tons of evidence. We're going to be sharing a lot of that stuff. We're going to have a panel of folks that we're going to do some Q&A with, people just like me that have been on the ground with us from the beginning, folks that are newly on the ground with us, and a hodgepodge and a mix so you can hear from just average everyday people. One of Audit the Vote's many missions moving forward is going to be to engage the culture in their local government politics, especially when it comes to elections, working the polls, watching the polls, getting involved in their local task forces, getting involved at the county level. I have a very strong passion for inspiring people to do that. And so I'm pulling at every possible story of someone who has done that and made an impact in their community. And thank God there's no shortage of them. So we're going to do a panel of those folks on Friday night as well. Tons of funny videos that Joel and I are playing with, which, speaking of, Joel, cue up that one that you showed me last week with the Trump guy talking, because this is hilarious. I'm having a little too much fun with these videos. I found one yesterday of a Wrecking Ball parody, Miley Cyrus's Wrecking Ball, and Trump is literally on the Wrecking Ball, and it's just I was up way later than I should have been last night going through some of these parody videos and having a little bit more fun than I should. But we're going to be a bunch of good videos interspersed, great teaching, a lot of inspiration, a lot of celebration too, because we've come a long way, even though we have a long way to go. There is plenty to celebrate. I was just on the phone.
You better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you why. 47's coming to town. I made a beautiful list and we're checking it twice. All the bad hombres will be deported by ICE. 47's coming to town. Tom Homan's gonna find you and make you go away. If you came here illegally, then you're not allowed to stay. So you better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you why. 47's coming to town.
How great is that? I love this stuff. I can't get enough of this stuff. Of course, people with my personality, listen, if it's not fun, it's not worth doing. I don't know how else to communicate that. If it's not a good time, then why the heck are we doing it? So we like to intersperse some fun in everything that we do. So this Friday night, and after that, I told my family I will take a breather. I promise. I will take a break from the computer screen. I will be mentally more present. We will start baking cookies, making Christmas crafts. My house today finally started to not look like a bomb went off because when my husband came home from work, he started helping me clean things up a little bit. We're going to have the incredible Captain Keschel and his new wife stay with us, stay overnight. And so we have to have the house a little bit respectable and clean. And I got some help with that from the family today. So that was exciting, but I'm having too much fun. The auction, let me mention a couple auction items today. I was planning on having some pictures I could display, but that just didn't quite make it on the to-do list, on the busy list today. One of the things that I'm blown away from last week's podcast, I had a guy from Morgantown, West Virginia, who owns a printing company down there, send us an email after I asked for donations from Patriot businesses saying, hey, I have a printing company. I've got some historical books. Would you be interested in using those? And I've become a complete history buff, despite the fact that I knew absolutely nothing before 2020. I woke up in March and knew no history, could have cared less, no interest in high school. Of course, as a kid, I don't know. That's another thing we're going to talk about is how to inspire our kids and the next generation and make them want to learn and absorb history in a way that my generation did not get to do. So history books, yes, sold. Send them to me. I don't care what they are. And I just got them today. So thank you, sir, for sending those. I'm excited to offer those to our participants on Friday and for you guys to check them out. One of them is a history on the city of Pittsburgh. from like 1776 to 1851, I think. I was geeking out completely over these books. Of course, side note, I have to have cataract surgery in my right eye. Yes, I have cataracts. I'm 45 years old. It is bizarre. The first cataract surgery, I think my favorite thing was the reaction of the nurses around the corner before I actually went under, and then be like, oh, you? Yes, it's me. It's one of those odd things. You're a little bit, even though I'm middle-aged, I have cataracts. I have to have my right eye done. I did the left eye, not the right eye. So, and it's getting worse on a daily basis. And I can tell when I try to read stuff. So as much as I wanted to read these books, my reading glasses were not within reach, and the chaos of the children, I haven't gotten a chance to look at them the way I wanted to. But what I did glance at is amazing. And I got a 2-volume set. They're like this thick, of the history of Beaver County. How cool is that, my fellow Beaver Countyans? So I can't wait to share all of this stuff with you. We're going to have Trump wine. Who knew the Trumps actually own a winery? The sons, Eric Trump. I think the location is Virginia, somewhere in Virginia. They own a vineyard and they make their own wine. When this was first pitched to be on my team and said, we need to auction off some Trump wine. In my head, I'm thinking, do you just go to the state store and stick like a MAGA sticker on the bottle? How does that work? No, they actually own a vineyard. And we're going to have Trump wine. We also have other local patriots who have their own vineyards donated. Wait till you see this big, beautiful basket from Villa de Vita, and the patriots that own that company that are right in my backyard in Wexford have donated this beautiful basket with wine glasses, bottles of wine, cutting board, Christmas ornament, wine opener, a lot of really cool stuff. And then I'm going to have a ton of Patriot Academy merchandise. Yeah, also for sale, but also for auction. And if I keep going, I think, thank you, Anthony Ellis. He donated a C.S. Lewis basket for us. And so you're going to have a chance to support a really good cause and maybe go home with a really cool gift at the same time. So I think that's it for my spiel on the 13th, and hoping and looking forward to seeing many of you and celebrating with many of you then. All right, I'm pinging Tom. He better be on here soon. If he's not, I'll do the best I can to give you guys the updates that I do have. Melanie, what do you think? What do you think? My kids, okay, I'm trying new hairstyles.
I told you they look great. I think it looks super cute.
They're probably not going to last very long because I've cut bangs in the past and they don't usually make it very long. I get sick of them very quickly. So don't expect to see this style a whole lot longer. I just thought I'd try it tonight. It's the gray. I am so gray, and with my dark hair, it's harder to keep the gray away for a longer period of time. And it's of course right in the front of my head. So I thought this would maybe be a good change. Well, I walked downstairs. Thank you. Oh, I'm glad you think they look cute. My entire family looked at me like I had a third eye in the middle of my forehead. The 7-year-old had a face like she was sucking on a lemon. My middle one went, oh, mommy, no. My oldest was the nicest. She was the most diplomatic and said, oh, well, it's not bad. It's not bad. We're just not used to it. And my husband said, is there a dead animal on your head? That was the consensus of my family. So what do you guys think? Again, it's short-lived, I promise, because it never lasts. But if it hides the gray for a little bit longer, then we'll go with it. Donna, the hotel, is there a hotel close to the celebration? I'm trying to think. Millvale, I don't think there is. Let me do some looking into that. Off the top of my head, there's not one right there, but there can't be one too far because we're right outside of downtown Pittsburgh. So depending on where you're headed back to, that might help me get you a hotel recommendation that's relatively close. So let me know I'm guessing you're going to go back east where you're coming from. So I'll help you with that.
Hold on.
Hi,
I got something coming up for that.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Joel. Thank you. What else are we going to talk about? Patriot Academy. We are going to have videos. You're coming from Gettysburg. Okay. So you're going back east. Yeah, Joel, another tidbit. Those that are newly watching, I have 0. Oh, look at you. Look at this. Here you go, Donna. Doubletree by Hilton Hotel. Priory Hotel. The Westin in Pittsburgh. The Westin's a beautiful hotel. If she's looking for something that's more like working man's budget instead of the Westin, like a Hampton or something like that, I'm sure there's one of those somewhere. There's a lot of them all over Pittsburgh, but nothing, unfortunately, super close to the venue. But definitely plenty for you to stop. And Yeah, let me know. You're welcome. Let's see what else. Thank you, Joel. That totally threw me off that you had that. Patriot Academy, we're going to get into Patriot Academy stuff. Coach's Corner. Last week, we talked last week about Dietrich Bonhoeffer. If you do not know, and you're willing to admit this, I was going to tell you about my horrible sense of direction. We'll get there later. If you don't know who Dietrich Bonhoeffer is, don't feel bad about yourself, because I didn't know who he was a year ago either. And this hit my radar probably from my Patriot Academy crew, but there's a new movie out that is only out, I think, this weekend. Here it is. Oh, Joel, that looks pretty good. You did a miracle on the graphic. Coach's Corner is our weekly gathering for people that are Constitution coaches or newly hosts that have signed up to host classes. It's a private meeting that we do every Thursday afternoon from 12 to 1 Eastern. 12 to 1 Central, 1 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern. Every Thursday is Coach's Corner. Scarlett Lanny, the coach program ambassador, she's my coworker, runs the call for the most part. And she has some really cool connections. She's always pulling in some really cool resources. And last week she got the producer, great movie, for the new movie Bonhoeffer. She got the producer to come on our Coach's Corner call. That was one of the coolest things I've ever experienced. He talked all about things behind the scenes that we would never know, about how the film came together, the production of it, the history behind it. Turns out this has been in the works since 2014. The guy, I think, was a believer, the way he made it sound when he talked about how just God's timing worked out. He was looking at, little tidbit for this. So if you are a Patriot Academy Constitution coach or hosting classes and you're not taking advantage of Coach's Corner, you are missing out. And you can also, they're recorded, and the recordings are in your coach dashboard on the Patriot Academy website. So if you can't make them for your schedule, you can always catch the recordings. The producer of the movie, his name is John Scanlon, talked about one of the movie companies that they were looking at producing the film, putting the film out, was Harvey Weinstein's, is it Miramax or DreamWorks? I don't know which one this is, but Harvey Weinstein. Enough said. Might as well be Bill Cosby, one of those other disgraced. Now adding to the list, P. Diddy. Of course, where the heck is P. Diddy? I don't know where P. Diddy is. And there's another one. Jay-Z is crazy. These are all things that people like me and Joel have been down rabbit holes 4 years ago, and none of this is surprising. But if you're just now starting to go, wait, P. Diddy's a pedo? Yeah, little bit. So Harvey Weinstein, he would have produced that movie if things had happened in the original timing of it in 2014. Thankfully, things fell through the cracks. A lot of times we don't understand God's timing. The Bible says it's perfect. I have a lot of questions all the time. And I know it can be really frustrating to be working on something and want it to get out in a certain time and things fall through. And this is just one of those great examples of a situation where that happened. But praise God, because if Harvey Weinstein had come out with this movie, we would all be going, oh, can we still watch that? No. If you're willing to admit that you don't know who Bonhoeffer is, please stick that in the chat. Nothing to be ashamed of. He was a powerful voice in 1930s Germany, one of the few, if not the only Christian pastor willing to speak out against Hitler's tyrannical regime when they came to power. They were coming down on the church and telling the church that you have to hail to Hitler. He is the savior. They came out with their own Nazi Bible. They added 2 commandments to the 10 commandments. And I know all of this stuff because I watched the movie and I've read a little bit as well. Many, many more. I want all the names. I do too. Perp walks and names. And we are all itching for accountability. I think everybody, we just can't wait to see these people held accountable for the heinous crimes that we know have been committed. If you didn't see Sound of Freedom, you can get caught up by watching the movie Sound of Freedom. But Bonhoeffer, incredible film. Angel Studios put it out. They're all on tight budgets coming from Angel Studios. They don't have the multi-billions of dollars that the DreamWorks and the Mirror Paramount and all the ones that we have seen for years on the Academy Awards stage and the Oscars, which I used to love. And now I boycott until we figure out who the heck is not drinking baby's blood and, who's one of the good guys. And then you hear, if you follow a lot of people for a while, you hear there are good people in Hollywood. So I'm just kind of waiting to see how things shake out and who's on what side before I start supporting any causes other than ones that have biblical foundations. So, Eric Metaxas, I agree. Great author. Letter to the American Church. Of course, I saw that. Oh, thank you. Bangs. Again, don't get used to this because my family hates it. And I've got mixed emotions myself, and I've done it many times. It doesn't last very long. Eric Metaxas, yes, I got halfway through Letter to the American Church. Incredible book. I did see his documentary and movie on it. If you haven't seen it yet, that's another one. It just really pounding away at the church. And thank God, I think November 5th happened, because enough of us got on our knees for 4 years. We showed our faith by our works. We got active, but more than anything, we left it all in his hands. And it looks like we were granted some mercy and a reprieve on November 5th, which I'm so thankful for. Joel, cue up the trailer. I did want to play that trailer again of the movie Bonhoeffer because it was so good.
Something's coming. Something unstoppable.
Look around you, my friend. How much light do you see?
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping left its seeds when I was sleeping.
Hate comes in every color.
And the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sun.
We have devised a plot to assassinate the Führer.
You will go to England as our spy.
Churchill sees Germany as a whole. He's afraid that a bomb traced to England would mean invasion or worse.
Invasion? Invasion? My country was invaded from within.
And the people bowed in parade to the neon god they
Hi, Hitler!
And the sign flashed out its warning, and the words that it was forming, and the sign said the words on the prophets are written on the subway walls and tenement halls, and whispered in the sun.
I'm ready to meet my destiny.
Of silence.
Oh my gosh, please go see that movie if you haven't. I get sick to my stomach, not in a bad way. It's just so riveting. And I got to tell you, I think one of our biggest challenges moving forward is battling the spirit of apathy, not going back to just being checked out Americans and being like, woohoo, we got a victory, we're good to go. Now we have to take care of ourselves, and we can't run at the pace that we ran at for the last 4 years, running on fumes and putting everything on the back burner and our family and the sacrifices we've made. But we got to find something that pulls us from deep within so that we continue the fight, because it really is just getting started. And that, maybe I should play that trailer every day instead of the other. Do that one first, then the 2-minute Trump video. That just grabs me in the gut. You've got to see that movie. No, I'm not being paid to promote it. We don't have an affiliate link or a code for you to get cheaper tickets. It's just that riveting. And also, if you have seen it, I'm going to ask you to go to Rotten Tomatoes and give it a review, because the left, here's something else we learned last week from the producer during the call. The left started making phone calls to anti-Israelites, anti-Israel folks in our country, which, hey, I support free speech. You are allowed to be for or against anything you want, as long as you're not physically hurting somebody else. They started pounding the phones in theaters and trying to get them to not show this movie. And so our side needs to continue the fight and step up. I do think we're dominating the court of public opinion, which I love, but we need to stay in the fight. And so go to Rotten Tomatoes, give it a review if you've seen it. And if you haven't seen it, put it on your list to see while it's still in theaters and support it. I'm going to be talking about it at Christmas with my whole entire family, even the slightly left-leaning ones. Those are my favorite. Love impacting the culture that way. I just texted Tom. He better be able to make it. I don't know where he's at, Mr. Carroll. He's on the road. I think he had a committee meeting tonight, so he's always got something good going on. But I don't want to go into the Delaware County stuff just yet until I at least hear from him. Or if we see him pop on here, Joel, let me know. So we'll jump down to some of the other things that we were going to chat about. If you are not a Constitution coach or you have not been to any of our classes, go to patriotacademy.com and you can register for free to get access to all the curriculum it takes to make a difference in your local community. Audit the Vote, Karen and I both are products of Patriot Academy's curriculum. November 2020, election happened. We were just hosting our first Constitution class. We had 11 people on the Zoom. Her and I were going back through some stuff this week. 11 people on our first class during COVID. Everything was shut down. Of course, our governor once again decided to shut the restaurants down. I think that was 2020. Yeah. Around Christmas, apparently you could catch COVID, or I'm sorry. It was something was happening before Christmas that they did not want the restaurants filled up during Christmas. So as long as it was like the 3 weeks, I remember them announcing this. Does anybody else remember this? Them saying December, whatever the date was, might have been the 20th. Sometimes I got a little Rain Man, that numbers stick in my head, and other times they don't. This is one of those that it's like sort of halfway there. I think it was the 20th of December, and they announced it like a week or two before, or days before. They made an announcement. We are shutting down restaurants between Christmas. It was like 3 weeks. And I remember it distinctly because I was so firing mad and everything I was learning and being empowered. Thank God it was before anybody knew me. I went into my local restaurants in my area and told people to stay open and begged, I want to see the manager. Are you staying open? Because if you are, me and my family are going to come here for dinner and support you. And if you're not, you're falling victim to what happened in 1930s Nazi Germany. I'm not kidding. I did this in December of 2020. So that's what I was doing before Audit the Vote. I was just using my big mouth to try to get people to stand up. And what is it that COVID, like, you're okay before that date, but the announcement, you have to shut down or it's going to get you in the 3 weeks before Christmas. Wildest thing ever. I still cannot believe people fell for it, but they did. Here we are on the other side 4 years later, and we can never forget what they did to us. I almost like talking about this stuff and looking back because it kills any little bit of apathy that starts to creep its way up. Just in my, I can feel it sometimes, just like, oh, I'm tired. No. We have so much work to do. And telling these stories brings me back to that time when restaurants were closed and churches were shut down and we were told you can't hug your relatives and you got to stay 6 feet away from everybody. I mean, 6 feet is like a funny thing in our household now. When my girls are bickering or we're joking about something, it's, you know, when someone to stay away from you, we go 6 feet, 6 feet. We've made it funny, but it wasn't funny when you were staring at the spots, which some places still have. Shopping through Aldi, I can remember the spots on the floor, getting so mad looking at it. 6 feet, stay apart from people. Who decided that? That came out of like nowhere. There was no scientific basis for that whatsoever, that if you stayed 6 feet apart, you were less likely to get COVID. And yet people bought it because Lord Fauci, who might get pardoned now, which I don't understand that either. Another thing we have to discuss is the pardon process for how can they pardon people? Here's my question. How can they pardon someone who's never been charged of anything? Like, he hasn't officially been charged with anything. So what do? Say anything that they could, you can investigate this guy. You're just going to give him basically diplomatic immunity, even though he destroyed the lives of tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people with his, if you do any digging on the guy, he's responsible for the HIV epidemic back in the 80s and 90s and worked his way up and stayed. He was a government bureaucrat, wealthy off of our tax dollars. And knowingly doing what he did with the COVID stuff is insane. And they're saying they're going to pardon him. I don't understand. He hasn't been charged. How could he be pardoned when he hasn't even been charged yet? It makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Shall I show a certain graphic that says never forget?
Yes.
Speaking of which, I didn't know if you wanted to keep that a surprise.
No, show it. I just didn't know if you had it. But yeah, so we're going to be giving these out at our party. And I did a poll on, if you're not following us on Telegram or X, please do. We're going to give these out at the party to anybody that comes. And maybe if they go over well, I'll put them up on the website that you can buy. I can have them shipped to you. I'll just use it as a fundraiser. We'll make a couple bucks on it. Maybe it'll help us keep going if it goes well. But the idea is keeping something in front of you on a daily basis. Everyone at the party, here's going to be your marching orders. Take this home and put it on your fridge or your bathroom mirror or somewhere where you're going to see it every single day, because we have to keep the memory of 2020 and what they did to us in front of our face on a daily basis in order to kill the spirit of apathy that's going to try to creep back up as we watch all the winning we think that we're going to see over the next 4 years. Of course, we need to see it to believe it. And I will be the first to say, look at this graphic. I love it. If you know, Trump's Hitler, well, guess what? If he declares himself God and tries to take over the church the way Hitler did, I will be the first to criticize the guy. But I don't think that's going to be the case. Check out this graphic. Joel did an incredible job on it. Every picture is designed to pull at your heartstrings of your emotions and take you back to where we were in 2020, back to that place so you'll remember what they did. and you will have to act on a daily basis to make sure we never go back. Remember the summer of love, the city's burning, COVID closing down restaurants and doors. The kids and the masks do it for me more than anything, because I got into several battles with family members and people who chose to be former friends that wanted to mask the children. And that was my hard stop. I am not sticking a mask. I don't care if it's got Paw Patrol on it. I am not sticking a mask on my child. That was a hard no. That's how we ended up homeschooling. Sorry, I won't do it. And the censorship, which still exists, the forced vax mandates, this just such a good graphic. Love that for a yard sign. You know what? There you go. Maybe that's our next. And you know what, Joel, pull the other one up too that I did. So Joel did this one, and I won't hurt my feelings. I would love to know which one you like better. It won't hurt his feelings or mine. I think I haven't checked on the Telegram poll I did. I think we're at a dead heat. Yours might be winning.
It'll hurt my feelings a little bit. I think yours was winning though, because it had Trump on it. That's the problem. You can't beat the Trump man.
Can't beat him. Join him. You had the Trump. Show the other one up.
Let me get that pulled up here.
I am not on Discord. I don't know if that's a bot. Is that a real dude? Discord username. I am not on Discord. That's a long story. I'm not going to share it right now.
Discord is a thing. It's similar to it's like a Twitch thing.
I know what it is. I just had bad experience with my kids sneaking on it and doing things they shouldn't have been doing. So I'm kind of anti-Discord, and that's why. But get the other graphic. Pull the other graphic up.
I'm getting. I've just got it downloaded. Here we go.
So these posters, actually, when you come to the party, it's a double-sided. I have to pick them up. I just printed them a couple days ago. One side's going to be the graphic that Joel did that he just showed you guys with all the different blocks. Nice. I love it. The nightly, it's very nice. It's very neat. He has the never forget. And then my 14-year-old actually started doing this one, and I took it over and made it. But this was her hodgepodge of idea, which I love. And it's got Trump in the middle. And this is maybe somebody with a more chaotic brain like mine will resonate with this one, because it's a hodgepodge and it's not cookie cutter. It's not very organized. It's more of like somebody just smattered something on the wall. So the idea was to get a style that would resonate with everybody. And so both of those images, one's going to be on one side of and it's an 8 by 11 sheet. I thought about getting it laminated. I might not have the time to get it laminated, but at any rate, you're going to take this home when you come to the party. And I like the idea of turning these into yard signs or doing something like this so that we can keep this in something on a daily basis. Look at the kid in the mask, the lady at the window, the COVID vax, closing the churches, burning down cities, a stolen election, censored media, and a guy that stood up and fought it all in the face of unimaginable stress. I mean, the media scrutiny that I had to take from Josh Shapiro was a blip. I mean, didn't even compare to what this man has been through. And I'll be honest, that was hard for me. I don't know how. Divine intervention is the only way this man, in my opinion, survived the last 4 years, and being arrested and indicted and convicted of things he didn't even do. And yet when he's shot at, stands up and says, fight. I love that graphic. I'll never get tired of seeing it. My kids hate it because of the blood on his face. Jenny Beth Martin from Tea Party Patriot sent me this. I think it's pretty cool. It's a stand-up banner of him, that picture, his fist, that I could use at events. We will have it with us at the party on Friday night. My kids are like, put it away. We don't want to see his bloody face. So I'm shocked that Savannah threw this in there. 14-year-old that she is, because she doesn't like it, but I think it does a great job of pulling at your heartstrings. So let us know which one you like better. We're always open to making things better at Audit the Vote. I'm one of those. My mindset is just, if the minute you think you've arrived, you're done. And so I'm always going to be innovating and trying to tweak things and try to make things better and get a bigger impact, reach more people. How can we get more people involved? How can we do better? And so if you have any suggestions of how to make these things better, or anything that we do for that matter, please always give us that feedback. We need and want your feedback. But I don't know, Joel, I like them both. I'm 50-50, honestly. I don't, because they both do sort of different purposes and give me a different feeling when I look at them. So I'm probably Right?
I like one of the we had somebody in Rumble there have a good idea of having it be a flag.
Oh,
Especially that one there. I think it would be pretty awesome on a big giant flag waving that.
yes. We got to do something. That's good. I was going to blow these up and have posters at the event, but again, I'm running out of time and resources. So we may or may not, but if you are coming, you will at least be able to take this home with you. And if not, I'll get some of them up on the website. Thank you. The Trump one is, everyone's different. Joel's a former lefty. And, I as well, I wouldn't call myself a former lefty, but when I graduated college, I was very slightly left leaning in my views, of course, wildly indoctrinated, uneducated, didn't really know why I believed the way I did. So he can relate a lot more to people in the middle and that are maybe slightly left leaning that are just now waking up that we need to like pull into our circle. And I, of course, probably a little more on the Trump side, just for tons of reasons that we don't really have time to go into. But, so it's good. I think we're good together. We're going to put together some stuff that'll reach. The objective is to reach the masses. So that's another criticism we get is, why are you on YouTube? Why are you on Facebook? Because we're trying to reach people, because we want out of the echo chamber. Is that the poll on Telegram?
Yeah, that's just now. And I'm flattered and impressed. It was definitely earlier way more in your favor.
Look at that. 89 votes. That's awesome. Very good. And again, we don't care. It's just, this will help me figure out when I get how many printed, what everyone likes better. I'll obviously print a little more of. My feelings are not the least bit hurt. I want to provide what's going to move the most people. And if it's his design, then thank God that he did it. Oh man, let's see. Tom, I don't know where Mr. Carroll is. I'm going to give him a little nudge here in a second if he's not going to join us. But yes, thank you for this. Another announcement we have. This is I am so excited. I think I'm the first one on the Patriot Academy team that might be talking about this, because I got permission to share the graphic right before we went live. This is a new class that Patriot Academy is offering starting on January 20th, Chasing American Legends. This class, if you have never seen the Chasing American Legends series, which I get a feeling that even a lot of you that took my classes or even our coaches have not, they're going to do this in a class for our new partners, American Heritage Girls and Trail Life. And what those organizations are the non-woke version of Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts. Since those two organizations decided to bow to the left and go slightly woke and feed into the confusion of people wanting to change their genders when they're 5, 6, 7 years old, they're rising up from the ashes are new organizations that will stand on the principles of liberty and sanity more than anything. American Heritage Girls. So if you pulled out from Girl Scouts, I was a Girl Scout when I was a kid. My kids didn't really get into it for multitude of reasons, but if you are looking for a replacement, American Heritage Girls is where you need to go. And for Boy Scouts, Trail Life. And so those two groups have partnered with Patriot Academy, and we're going to do a national class together. I probably won't be on that class very often. Maybe every once in a while, if they need me to pop in, I will. But you will have Rick Green. You'll have the founders of both of those organizations there. And bonus, you're going to get to go through a whole new content that you probably haven't seen before. Chasing American Legends is a reality TV series that the Green family did back in 2015, where they took their 4 kids who were way younger at the time. I think Rhett, the youngest, who's now in his 20s, was only 9 when they shot this series. And they travel around to different landmarks, the Independence Hall. They go to the Battle of Lexington and Concord. They travel to different landmarks. I think they even go down to one of the MLK museums down in, I want to say Birmingham, Alabama. And they're studying history. It's their family traveling around the country, visiting these different landmarks and delving into the real, true, original intent history. What do the documents say themselves? Not what some left-wing pundit has interpreted their personal situation and tied it in some article they read. But what was the original intent? Not painting the picture ever that our founders were perfect people and unflawed. But a lot of us on the right believe, and I think with enough evidence to conclude this accurately, that God was involved in the foundation, working through the people to put together our country. You can't argue that it is the most successful nation financially. It is the only nation in all of recorded human history that has maintained national prosperity and individual liberty at the same time, which makes us incredibly unique. And so if you've got
the
young
American
kids,
story is filled with legends, myths, and heroes that are larger than life, including true stories that are simply unbelievable. We're the Green family, and for years we've been traveling the country sharing the stories that shaped America.
You don't have to look far when it comes to a hero. All you have to do is look in history.
We're chasing the truth about the heroes of our past and finding answers for the future.
thank you for that. He gets better every time. That was so good. Get your young kids. So if you have kids that are around the ages of mine, probably 10, 11, 12, definitely teenagers, and you're struggling to get them to like history or understand real history, get them in this class. This is designed for them, perfect for them. A personal testimony, my 14-year-old daughter, we watched this series last summer together. And it's not that she's not interested. I know. Yes, Leadership Congress. I know. We're getting there. We'll get there. It's not that she's not interested in history, but let's face it, I'm her mom and I'm pounding this stuff in them on a daily basis. And there's only so much they care about what mom thinks. But when I sat her down and she watched this and she saw the young kids, Rhett Green, Reagan Green, Cameron, the daughter, 9, 11, whatever their ages were, 12, 13, her age, getting involved in this stuff, totally different perspective. I could just see a little bit of a fire, maybe not a total fire like I would want her to, but a little bit more interest. That I didn't have to force her to sit down and watch this with me, but she actually started looking forward to it throughout the summer. On a nightly basis, we would watch these episodes when I'd put her sisters that were a little bit younger to bed. And even when we went on our beach vacation in September, we took a week to go to the beach with some of our friends who also have kids around those ages. I played a couple episodes at night in the beach house for the kiddos, and they were engaged. I mean, the second night, a couple of them were like, "When's our history lesson again tonight, Miss Toni?" I'm like, "That's right. This is how we save the country. The Lord has made them, I believe, the remnant, and he's given them parents like me and maybe grandparents like you to water those seeds in them and get them educated so they can make a difference and we can keep the country free." So don't miss this. January 20th. I don't have the registration link to share or QR code, but go to patriotacademy.com. It's on there somewhere. I'm sure we'll be talking about this tomorrow on Coach's Corner and in the future. I'm excited for this class. It's the first time ever. patriotacademy.com. Sure, there's a link again somewhere. If you're a coach, it's on your dashboard. This is exciting new content, new offering, new way. I am going to start another biblical citizenship class. So if you're waiting on that, we're going to start that sometime in January. Probably won't be Monday nights. I'll do a different night. I'll probably do a Thursday night. Maybe we'll start that same week or the week before, the week after. Not 100% sure yet, but I will be doing another biblical citizenship class that you can join on Zoom from the comfort of your home. And I'm looking forward to seeing many of my former students, new students. Really what we need to do now is pedal to the metal and get some new people, new eyeballs in front of this content so we can continue passing the torch and inspiring other people with the principles of liberty. So thank you for all of that. Let's see. I'm going to check for Mr. Carroll. And if he is not Tom, he ghosted me, totally ghosted me right now. I will still, this video from Delaware County is quite riveting, to say the least. It is even more disturbing that what I wanted Tom to give us an update on is what's happening. They're still battling it out in the court. And what did the defendants kind of hope for? This is the case that Leah Hoops and Greg Stenstrom are still battling out in the courts as well. Tom Carroll is representing a different defendant on the case. They are filing pro se. He has another defendant that he's representing. So I wanted to get his perspective because it's different, I'm sure, than the others. But I tapped him and he's still not there. So let's talk about MyPillow. If you still have holiday shopping to do, mypillow.com, support Mike Lindell, great products, use promo code ATVPA and we will get a donation. Most of my family, if they're getting something, oh, look at that. Joel did a nice Christmas graphic up for it. It looks great. Promo code ATVPA. My family is either getting something from Patriot Academy, Wall Builders, or MyPillow. And, if you don't like it, that's not my problem. I love it, Melanie. Waiting for the dates of the. I think I already said that. Merry Christmas. Promo code ATVPA, mypillow.com. We have the slippers. We have the sheets. We have towels. I think we've got just about everything from there. I have not been disappointed with anything that I have tried. The price points for me personally were more than I would spend on items of that nature when we first started shopping there. But I can tell you right now that it is totally worth it. Told a story last week. Eventually we will get this to be an ad for My Pillow of my little Hallie, my 7-year-old, who was complaining that her bed was too hard and not comfortable. And for 2 years, every night she would leave her room and come into me and my husband's bedroom and spend the night on this little couch that I couldn't imagine was any more comfortable at the foot of our bed. And she was there literally every morning. We lost complete control of our bedroom, which is not good for a marriage. So I bit the bullet. I ordered a mattress topper, spent $100 on a mattress topper from My Pillow to take the chance to see, okay, maybe it is the bed. If I get a cozy mattress topper, it might help. Told my husband when he came home one day and he was like, you spent what on a because they're kids, right? Kids fight bedtime. I don't know why they fight bedtime so much. I wish I could go back to being when I was a kid and get that understanding, because I remember doing the same thing, fighting bedtime. But now it's just give me some sleep. Don't you just want some sleep? As an adult, that's all you really want, to sleep. So hubby thought, you're falling for it. She's given you a wild story. Why are you falling for this? And we put it the day we put it on the bed. She has not been in our bedroom ever since. She is now sleeping in her bed. She says it is comfortable. And he will tell you now it's the best $100 we ever spent. I said, well, that's right. So Audit the Vote got some donations. We got our bedroom back. Bonus, cha-ching. And that's my story with My Pillow, and I'm sticking to it. So great stuff. Holiday shopping probably can still order the next, I think the 13th is what I'm seeing for most deadlines, to be able to get things in time for Christmas, which reminds me, I still have to do a lot of Christmas shopping. I will take a break after this party on Friday night. We're going to have a blast, and then I'm going to take a break. Joel popped in. You got something else to share? I see you popped on the screen. Go for it, because I'm tap dancing right now, waiting for Tom.
I've been on the most of the time, but that's okay. It's just I'm a black square. That's all.
I didn't even see it. You're a black square, like BLM.
We've got of course we got the video for Delaware County, if you want to show that, or do you want to get into the current events news cycle stuff? Those two, or do you want to save that for the end?
Let's see, we can save that for the end. We only have 8 minutes left. Let's play the video from Delaware County. A lot of you, if you followed us for a while, you've seen this, but you might not remember it. There is live footage. I mean, this was one of the many. We're still being told Governor Shapiro today signed to certify Pennsylvania's election for 2024. They signed a certificate. It's called a certificate of ascertainment. There's a process to go through from the first Tuesday in November when we vote to get to January 20th, where we are going to inaugurate President Trump, hopefully without any incidents. But there are deadlines and laws and things in place and checks and balances. So that if something does happen or things are seen that make you question the legitimacy of the election, there are things in place to stop it. And one of them is the day that the electors in every state meet and cast their vote for who won the popular vote in their particular state. In our case, this time it is President Trump. So electors for the Republican Party met yesterday, December 10th, in Harrisburg and pledged their vote. So our 19 electoral college votes, there's 19 electors. They each sign a form. It gets sent to Washington, D.C. to be opened this time, all the irony, on January the 6th. And that's how we elect the president. Pre-2020, I knew nothing about this. You probably don't know much about it either. And admittedly, back then I learned this because I was following the process so closely, because we just wanted some answers. When we saw what went wrong, we thought, well, certainly our legislature is going to have to look into these anomalies before they send these electors down to Washington, D.C. And then, of course, over the last 4 years, we've seen the electors from Arizona and Michigan specifically get indicted because they have tyrannical governors. Pennsylvania, they covered their butts a little closer. Our electors in 2020 did not get indicted, although they were intimidated heavily, because in their electors that they sent, they had a caveat in their filing that said, per the outcome of the court cases that are still yet to be determined, if anything were to come out in court that would change the outcome of the election, we are sending these electors for that very purpose. And so that's a bunch of education that hopefully you learned something I didn't want. And I think I see Tom, who I thought was going to ghost me, I think I see him popping in. I hope he has decent service before I bring him in. So that being said, we're going to play the trailer. We're going to play the Delaware County video just for new folks, new eyeballs, that to give you some context of what he's going to talk about as the court cases are related to this specific evidence that has been submitted. And Delaware County keeps trying to say that everything from this is fake, it's not legit video, which it completely is. And Tom can speak to that. But this will show you what election officials were doing based on right to know requests that were being filed. There was a whistleblower on the inside that took this video. This is election officials. Jim Allen, who is still the director of elections in charge of Delaware County, the equivalent of David Voy in Allegheny and Colin Sisk in Beaver, who we trust is doing a good job. The election director, he is still in this position despite being found on video saying, we got to talk about that because it's a felony what you're asking me to do. So Joel, when you cue that video up, let's play that and then we'll bring Tom in.
This is Jim Savage and James Allen discussing getting rid of the pads and second scanners.
Pads and the second scanner.
We got to talk about it now.
Why? Go on.
Here's Tom Gallagher again, lawyer for Delaware County, destroying voting machine tapes to bypass the right to know request.
And then let them try to figure out what we did.
Tom, why do you have to rip it off? It makes you feel better?
It's just so many copies. I didn't want to try to pick it out and take the through stuff away.
Oh.
We're gonna have a little campfire going.
That was 4 times.
What we have here is evidence. What we have there is evidence. Right? Let them figure that out.
Yes, but what I don't understand, and this makes me nervous, is why tapes were being thrown away. So what is...
Those tapes were...
No, you guys have been throwing away tapes, so what tapes are you throwing away? Like, why?
Because they're unidentifiable. There's no way they could,
But it's been that way since the November election, so why would you throw anything away? Because you have to save it for 22 months.
Well, let's put it this way. Yes, there are tapes that are being tossed, but they are of no audit value. Of no audit value.
So Governor Shapiro, I told you all that to tell you that just today or yesterday, he signed the certificate of ascertainment for the 2024 election and said that everything is free and fair and fine, just like it was in 2020. My rear end, their governor. And so bring in attorney Tom Carroll. Tom, thank you for taking time out of your day, although you almost missed it, but thank you. Are you driving? We can't hear him. Oh, now he's muted. You're working on unmuting yourself. Are you still in the car? I know he was driving home from a meeting, a GOP. I think it was his committee meeting tonight. See, work committee meeting. If you're not involved locally, you need to get involved because we all go to and from committee meetings. Karen is the chair. I think I mentioned that earlier, of the Westmoreland County Committee. Well, at least you didn't ghost me. I will say that. At least you didn't ghost me. He's a little late. We don't have any audio, but at least he didn't ghost me. I'll keep talking. If he gets his audio unmuted, then we can hear from him. But Tom is, I hope I'm not saying, I don't want to say something we shouldn't say. He's intimately involved with this case. The whistleblower that, the whistleblower that was involved with this, Tom knows, is representing a lady by the name of Ruth Moten, that is still a defendant.
Hello?
Hey!
No, not hearing.
Aww. I can see you. I can hear you. Now I can't. Oh, we're having technical difficulties.
Tom, can you hear us?
Oh, now I can hear you. I could not hear you before.
Hey there. Can you hear me?
I'm not hearing Toni. I just heard your voice.
Oh no. Joel, so we can hear you and not me.
Tom, you can hear. This is Joel, the producer.
I can hear you, but I cannot hear her. I could hear her, and then all of a sudden the sound just disappeared, and I didn't hear anything until I just heard you speak now.
Try to say something, Toni. Go ahead.
Hello? Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Toni, go ahead. Say something.
I am. Joel, if he can't hear me, just ask him to give us an update this week on the court
I'm not
case.
hearing Toni.
Okay, go ahead and give us an update this week.
On the court case.
On the court case.
He was in court this week.
Oh, okay. All right. So if you're hearing me, then sorry about this technical problems here. I was in a meeting of our county committee tonight. It went longer than I anticipated. Now I'm on the Pennsylvania Turnpike, so I apologize for that. But yes, the Delaware County case, it is shocking that from the beginning how the courts try to sort of conspire to say that this was filed late because it wasn't filed within 20 days of the election in 2020, when in reality, a lot of the fraud that was discovered in those videotapes that you saw from the whistleblower were taken in the spring of 21 because right to know requests had been filed. And while they were being fulfilled, there was a whistleblower that was videotaping these people doing all these nefarious deeds. And then with further investigation and with patriots like Leah and Greg, who also were witnesses to the actual election in 2020, we put together a very comprehensive complaint that did not seek to challenge the overturn of election, but rather said these people committed crimes, fraud, and misrepresentation, and all those other kind of civil actions that we tried to bring against them. And all along, the court kept saying, this is just an attempt to overturn an election, and you have no standing, and it's moot. So no, it's not. And we argued that in front of the Commonwealth Court on Monday. And again, the interesting thing was, you saw that video clip with Jim Allen, he was actually brought in from Chicago to work in Delaware County. And he came in after the election. When they got these right to know requests, they knew they were in trouble because they had so much corruption going on in that election. They purposely created chaos. Delaware County was the last county in Pennsylvania to report its returns on that election cycle. They had so many things wrong where half of the precincts didn't even have return sheets available when they were reconciling these things, and when they were just admitting that they were just like destroying evidence in the production of these right to know request. And so the bottom line is, again, we said to the court, these people need to be held accountable, not because we want to overturn an election, but because it is capable of happening again. We don't fix this and hold people accountable, they will continue to cheat, and we'll see what happens.
Awesome. Joel, can you just ask him the follow-up question of what's next in this case?
What's next in the case?
All right, well, the next thing would be that this panel of judges will review the briefs submitted by all parties. And I can't tell you how many times these litigants from the other side, from the attorneys for the Delaware County defendants and the attorney for the former Secretary of State, who we also included in this complaint, just lied to the court. They claimed that the case should be dismissed because there was that the notice of appeal was not timely filed when it was. Completely just get away with lying to the court, and then suggesting that because this case was nothing more than an attempt to overturn an election, as they keep saying, that we should be sanctioned and I should lose my license to practice law and I should be referred to the disciplinary board. And this is the kind of arguments they make because they don't want to face the truth, and they're hoping the court will just buy into that and dismiss it. But the next stage is that they'll write an opinion and they'll say, yes, the court was right in dismissing the case, the lower court, or no, the court was wrong If they say no, the court was wrong, they should have not dismissed the case. It would be remanded back to Delaware County for an actual trial to continue the civil trial in that case.
Cool.
Gotcha. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, Toni wants to thank you, and that she wants to bring you back on when you're stationary.
Okay, well, I should be. Are you talking tonight now, or some other?
No. We'll do another time. She does her show weekly.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, and I'll be seeing her on Friday.
Excellent. Yes, we're looking forward. I'll be there too, and definitely a lot of other fans will be there as well for Friday.
Okay. So, apologize for the. I was hopeful. I started seeing. I could hear her talking, saying she was going to introduce me, and the next thing you know, it just went silent. So.
Yeah, that happens. Technology.
Bummer.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
It's a lovely thing that we hate. All right. Well, hey,
Yeah.
again, thanks again, Tom. Looking forward to
All
seeing
right.
you on Friday, and you take care. Drive safe.
All right, good night. Thank you.
He made it. That's so bizarre. He couldn't hear me. How weird is that? But he could hear you.
Yeah, at least we had audio.
Yeah, very good.
One of my shows I like to watch, they actually could not go live because there was no audio on their end. So they had to do a broadcast later without an audience, which is
Oh my gosh.
very odd.
All right. Well, we're going over an hour. Joel, we had a couple of things queued up. We were going to give just our take on some of the national things. I guess we could talk just a few minutes about it. I know this week, two big national things. The guy on the subway in New York City who saved an entire, it sounds like, crew of people from a lunatic who was hopped up on drugs and saying he was going to kill people, and he put him in a chokehold. The guy died, and then the government went after him for murder, and he was acquitted this week. So Joel, why don't you, I guess we'll do these last couple things. We'll play the Patriot Experience video, and then we'll call it a night. But Joel's much more up to speed on this stuff than I am, so I'm going to let him give his take first.
Hold on. I'm getting all my windows straight here. Hold on. Yes, culture war is in my wheelhouse, and definitely some current events. Where? Here we go. There we go. Of course, most of you folks already know about Daniel Penny, acquitted on the charges, and the concerning backlash. Of course, BLM are wanting to have payback, as it were, for all that. If the audio is coming through for that.
It's not.
Okay. Yeah. Calling for black vigilantes and choke us. So, yeah.
Is that his dad? Did you tell me that's his father?
No, this is Jordan Nearly's father, who was basically absent, MIA, gave his son up. The mom got shot. He gave him up to the state, never involved in his life, never paid on anything. And then, of course, is right on cue out on the camera.
No audio.
Yeah. That I'll fix next time. But yeah, he's basically on camera saying, love his son, and yeah, not involved at all.
I mean, as a parent, I get it. You always love, but the media is, of course, mainstream, which is dying and dead. And I don't want to give it any more credence than it needs to, but they're, of course, trying to paint this as a civil rights issue and how horrible. And, they wanted Daniel Penny to get convicted for something that really he was saving lives. He should be a hero, but Joel's much more in tune with the left and kind of what they're doing. I have a tendency to ignore this stuff, quite frankly, just because it's noise, but he follows it much more than I do. So I thought, thank you for giving that little bit of perspective on that. And I guess since we can't hear, we'll move into, what was the other thing? Oh yeah, the CEO guy that got shot.
That luckily this stuff doesn't have any audio or video attached to it. But one thing I will say with Daniel Penny, I mean, again, God bless him and God bless his parents for raising a proper son. The bummer is he's now going to be able to face civil suit charges.
So he's not out of the woods.
He's not out of the woods yet. So it's lesser crime stuff, but he's still could be punitively damaged, or monetarily, I should say. There was a good interview. Judge Jeanine Pirro did do a sit-down interview exclusively with Fox. It's on Fox Nation. I've not gotten to see it. They've been showing excerpts from it, like on the 5 and on Gutfeld. So it's been good. He's a great kid. I mean, he did what was right. He didn't think about it. He didn't want to. He didn't regret it. He would do it again if it meant saving somebody's life. So
Good for him.
That's what's great about that. Excellent kid. Oh yes, and go ahead, Des. Luigi.
So last week, my husband, it must have been after our podcast, which I think we're probably leaning towards Wednesday nights that we're going to do this on a regular basis. My husband says something to me about, did you see the CEO that was shot today in New York City of the healthcare company or whatever? And no, come to find out, this is this dude, who very strange background, went to a very expensive private school, supposedly upstanding citizen, disappears for the last 3 months, but then shows up to assassinate the CEO of United Healthcare in New York City, waits for him to come outside a hotel at 6 o'clock in the morning and shoots him. And this is how sick, Joe, I can't believe this, how sick the left is, the Marxist communists, that they're not going to quit trying, which is why we do have to stay on top of it, is they are calling this guy a hero because they're anti-corporatism. They're anti-capitalism. They have no understanding of what has actually happened in real time with the corporate structure. It's the big companies that are controlling a lot of the things that they're for. They're so misguided, but they're hailing this guy as a hero. But I'll let you take it away, Joel, because this is just, I can't.
Yeah, this is the, people, I tell anybody in my circles, head on a swivel. The culture war is real. The rising tone of socialism and communism is ever pervasive in all the major cities. So just beware. But yeah, they are glamorizing a killer who killed the CEO because of the unfairness of the healthcare system and of evil capitalism. And he's essentially a Robin Hood folk hero now. Merchandise, people are tattooing him on their bodies. There are, and it's not just the leftist Marxists that are, following and going in lock and step. It's also the mainstream media. And all the reports have been downplaying, him, have been, again, even, here we go, Senator Elizabeth Warren is basically having to roll back because she essentially just said, I think this should actually have the quote. Yeah, violence is never the answer, period, she said. I should have been much clearer. Never justification for murder. She actually was saying, let's see. Violence is never the answer, but people can be pushed only so far. So she was basically on TV, a senator, saying that. So it's the media, it's the Democrats in general. They are all kind of like, well, he shouldn't have shot him, but I understand, kind of an attitude about it all. So it is Etsy shops, Etsy stores, merchandise, tons of leftist women on Twitter that want to be his baby daddy, that want to bake him cookies and visit him in jail. Essentially a guy who's going to face, well, sadly, New York does not have the death penalty. So he could, I guess, be in life in prison. So, yeah, just tons of leftist women that want to be his wife, his mom, or his, father, or I should say birth his children, and et cetera, et cetera. It's pretty crazy. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Can they tattoo him on their bald heads? It boggles my mind, the cultural rot that exists out there. And that's why when Joel said, let's talk about this, I thought, well, we got to hit it all. Why not? I mean,
Yeah, he's got. Be aware. It's what it's like. We are all in bubbles, and I'm in a bubble where I'm at here too. And it's like there in blue cities, in big cities, college campuses, people under 40. Yeah, this is like the embracing the loving slow embrace of socialism and capitalism is ever pervasive, whether it's socialized medicine, whether it's indoctrination, whether drag queen story hour, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It is widely accepted, and thank God that there are people like us that have not bought into that.
That just blows my mind.
They are out there. They could be your neighbor. They could be your person you go into a coffee shop with, like, again, Starbucks or other places. Yeah, a lot of the hip, trendy places full of these kind of people.
And so this is my Save the World coming out, but this is why I love empowering and equipping people to speak out, and don't be afraid. Don't shy away from these conversations, but learn how to communicate to maybe enlighten some of these people. Now, I know that a lot of them are too far gone, but there might be some that are still reachable out there. I believe there are. And it is up to people like you and I to engage them in a conversation, whether it's the marketplace or it's your family or it's whatever it is that you're at, so that find some common ground. A lot of these people, they're just subject to the propaganda, somehow still asleep. But if you can find common ground with them, you might be able to make an impact and get them to realize how nuts this is. I mean, socialism, it sounds great on paper. It sounds fantastic, but it has never worked. Ever. And what these people are against, all it takes is a free market would fix. And they just don't understand enough about economics and history. And they haven't. And I was guilty of it once upon a time too. But for heaven's sakes, pick up a book, read something, and then learn. We have to learn how to engage our fellow man in the culture. It is the way to push back. So thank you for this, Joel. Thank you. We'll leave the topic. It's been over an hour. Do you have the MAGA Christmas video? I know it's a little bit longer, but maybe we'll close out with I am on YouTube finding the funniest stuff for bumper videos for this weekend's event.
Have a MAGA Christmas. Biden's out the door. Hunter's laptop's missing, but we know what's in the drawer. Gas is down to $2, jobs are rolling in, and all the woke agendas landed squarely in the bin. Inflation's in the gutter, groceries cost less. No more paying double just to get the same old mess. Borders are secure now, towns are feeling safe, and the girls can use their bathrooms without boys in their space. Have a MAGA Christmas, America is back. No more drag shows in the schools, we're taking common sense to task. It's a MAGA Christmas, flags are flying high, and the snowflakes melt like butter when we tell them nice try. Santa's sleigh got funding for a military boost. Our troops are all respected, no more rainbow-colored suits. Farmers own their fields now, not the CCP. And all the parents cheer as woke math books hit the street. Have a MAGA Christmas, red hats on the tree. No more bribes for Big Pharma, we've got real transparency. It's a MAGA Christmas, stores are fully stocked, and the FBI's been told to take their politics and walk. Now How the snowflakes scream on Twitter all day long. But Elon set them free, so their outrage isn't gone. Meanwhile, Grandpa's laughing, drinking his Bud Light, 'cause this Christmas feels like justice finally made things right. Have a MAGA Christmas. Cheers to Trump's return. No more crazy spending or the cash we didn't earn. It's a MAGA Christmas. Freedom's here to stay. Merry Christmas, y'all. The USA is great again today.
How great is that? I'm not even a huge fan of country music, but that, my kids, we rolled on the floor today when I showed them that they got home from school. It was awesome. Hope you enjoyed it. More to come when you join us Friday night. Go to auditthevotepa.com. Support us with a monthly donation. Every little bit counts. I don't care if it's $5 a month, $20 a month. There's some fun stuff. I had some fun with it on the donations, what you can give monthly to support, whether it's the Steel or the Future or 45 or 47. But we need your help. We need fuel in the tank because we got a lot of work to do. Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys next week.
Take care, everybody.